Hey, thank you for coming by Tori Magoo 44. Today is the 17th of December. One of my plants. I'm going to set it over here. Anyway, thank you for coming by. I'm going to talk to you today about something that's a little bit different than Scientology, but it did definitely affect me, and it had to do with last night. I went to see Sally Fields. She did it like an hour, maybe 2 hours. I can't remember how long it was, but it was really good. At the Arrow, where she just came and talked. They showed a few of her movies, a bunch of her movies, but clips from her movies, and then she would talk about them and kind of the backstory behind them. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about it because it was really fun. I really enjoyed it, and so did everybody else. It was very, very, very interesting. First of all, she's really a nice person. I mean, I hope a bunch of you have seen her films. She has great films she's in, but she's cool in her films, and you kind of think she's probably a nice person. She, per talking last night, she's a very nice person. She's tiny. She's a little tiny person. She came up on stage, and anyway, she started talking about, the first thing she said is the 20-second look, and she said, you guys know that look. It's like when somebody just looks at you, and in 20 seconds they've already decided whether you're on or off, right? And I thought that's a really good way to, it's a good term for it, the 20-second look, right? It's true. Okay, so she said she was born basically in the industry because her mother was an actress and her father was a stuntman. Both of them kind of on and off as far as acting, as far as whether they had jobs or not. So it was, she learned that early on. She originally started with Gidget. She went and tried out for it. She said, I brought a bag with me and my bathing suit. I was planning on going to the beach. I didn't want to waste the whole day, which was a typical Sally Fields thing to say. And it was funny because it was for real. That's what she meant. She really didn't think she'd get it, but she got it, and she was Gidget. And I don't know, probably that's too long ago for a lot of you, but you can probably put it on YouTube, and I'll bet you, if I can find it, I'll see if I can find one and put it in the notes. But anyway, that's what she started with. That was her big, kind of beginning. Even though she said she started when she was 7, so she probably did a lot of other little things. But that was her first big movie, right? Or I'm not sure. I think it was a TV show, actually, Gidget. And then the next one was The Flying Nun, which she said she didn't want to do. It was awful. She was depressed through all of it. She gained 25 pounds during it. But her stepfather kept talking to her, saying, you may never work again. And she said that fear is, something that always sticks with her. You may never work again. And she said, the minute you let that guide you, you're in trouble. You have to stay away from that fear. And she talked a lot to the people in the audience because a lot of them were actors. And she said Lee Strasburg, who I don't know if you know him or not, but very famous, and you can Google him and find out about him, but he was the first person that really believed in her as an actor, right? And kind of took her under his wing, which is pretty cool. And she learned how to use her funny, she said, from that. But she also said being really furious helps too. Which is, it's kind of seeing her, she's so tiny, just the idea of her being furious is funny, but I got it. I mean, she said she had to fight for her whole career, for everything she's had to do, she's had to fight for it. And Steven Spielberg said, that's because she has such a childlike quality. And so she had to really fight against, kind of to get over that childlike quality and be a real actor and have people recognize that. She was in Sybil, which is another movie. She said Joanne Woodworth totally helped her with that and was her champion. And, she told some stories about that. Smokey and the Bandit, she said, was totally spontaneous, just completely spontaneous, if you've ever seen it. And this is funny, for Norma Rae, which was a huge one for me with Scientology. It really helped me. Norma Rae is about, like this factory working people. And this guy comes to town and says, look, you guys need a union. And that's what I used to say in Scientology, because I worked at the Wise companies, which are their business management. And I used to say, we need a union. We do. Because they would just screw us over. We would work all week, and then they would say, oh, sorry, we can't pay you this week. We don't have any money. Now, this is a private business. This isn't the church, even though they pay 10% to the church. But, these guys were making tons of money. And then they wouldn't pay us, right? And I said, we need a union. But anyway, and Norma Rae, she gets up, she jumps up on the thing, and she writes union, and she jumps up on it, and all these machines are going like, and one by one they shut it down, and they shut it down, and they shut it down, and it is very it still moves me to this day. I mean, it was a very, very incredible thing. But someone had said to her, I didn't catch who it was, but someone said, no one wants you, but I'll fight for you to get Norma Rae as the part. And she got it, and she's fabulous in it. If you've never seen it, it is a great movie to watch. Places in the Heart is another one I dearly love, and it was one that I watched when I was in the cult. But she said originally it was about either 3 or 4 different families, or 3 or 4 different kind of life stories. But it ended up getting whittled down to it was the producer's grandmother's story. And it was a real story about what happened. It's a good movie. It's a really good movie. John Malkovich is in it, who I love. He's great. I mean, it's got some awesome characters in it. Let's see. She also said Punchline, which is another great movie, and reminded me, again, in Scientology, I got into, what do you call it? Toastmasters, which is a thing we did at Celebrity Center if you join Toastmasters, and it kind of teaches you how to talk in public. And a lot of people go and like you just heard me go well, they have an counter, and they count how many times you do the and then they have you redo it with less ahs, and you kind of get better at not going that kind of thing. But it reminded me of it because they had a contest for a comedy show, right? Where you could do something funny. And I had, in Scientology, do this thing, bull baiting, and this is a true story, and I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but this old man who we called the Sufferer, and, I basically told him, get the hell out of here, or I'm going to take your cane, and you're not going to be able to get out of here, because he was picking on me and these other people, and going, when did you ever suffer? And, it was very funny, and it would come up in bull baiting all the time. So, okay, long story short, I joined Toastmasters, I do the comedy thing, I win, right, at Celebrity Center. So now I go to the next place, and it's pretty much good comedians, and I'm thinking, no way, but I do the story, and I win. So now we're on Wilshire Boulevard, and it's like Tom Hanks quality, funny guys, really funny guys. And they're all making jokes about Toastmasters. So it's like, people are roaring laughing. And I'm thinking, oh, God, I got to get up and talk about this old man. But I do, and I win. So now I'm going to go out to the airport, and if I win that, I'm going international or something. But I get out to the airport, and I'd never brought my friends or my family to any of these things, so I thought, what's the chance I'll win? So now I'm at the airport, I bring my family, I bring my friends, it's all 80, 90-year-old people. And no offense to you, but at this, it was awful, because they were all, I start in, well, he's an old man with no teeth. And they're like, well, so fucking what? I don't have any teeth either. Nobody thought it was funny at all. So it was just awful. It was just like Punchline, where they had that. But anyway, that's Tom Hanks and me with Scientology and my little thing. So needless to say, I did not win on that one. But the person who did come in second was an attorney, and she threw her award on the table. She was so ticked off and locked herself in the room because she wanted to be first. So people are weird. Anyway, she talked about Tom Hanks and what a diamond he is, which we all know. Like she said, you all know that. Now, Lincoln came up. She wanted to be married. And she called Stephen and said, I'm married. And he said, originally Liam Neeson was going to be Abraham Lincoln. And then he said, no, I'm not going to do it. So he got, and Stephen sort of thought she and Liam Neeson would work. But now it's Daniel Day-Lewis. And I think it's that she's 20 years older than him. I'm not positive, but they have a big age difference. And Stephen said, no, it's not going to work. It's not going to happen. You're not going to do it. And she was like, no, I'm Mary Lincoln. She said, I've wanted to do this for years and years and years. And so she was just like on it, and they're good friends. And so she said, look, what do I have to do? And he said, come audition. So she did. And I mean, this is, a person, Sally Fields, who's very, very well known. And, anyway, she did her audition. And he sent it to Daniel Day-Lewis in Ireland. And the guy apparently liked it, flew into Los Angeles. They did a 2-hour interview. And from that, she still didn't know if they had it. apparently the mic wasn't on for the whole thing intentionally. He just wanted to see how how charismatic they were together, which apparently, you know, it's really a cool movie if you haven't seen it. So she says she leaves, she doesn't know, and the next day she gets a call from the office saying, well, do you want the same makeup and hair people? And she's like, what? You know, it's just like so awesome. So anyway, she got it, needless to say. And people, I didn't know this, but apparently they were texting for 8 months. And she said people in the industry thought that was really weird. She said, but it's not weird. You know, she really goes into the character. She did her research on Mary Lincoln, letters that she'd written to Abraham Lincoln, stuff like that. And then started texting Daniel DayLewis for 8 months as Mary Lincoln. Do you see what I mean? And he was like, as Abe Lincoln. Because she said, I knew we had to, you know, get onto the landing and start filming. She knew that's how it was going to go down, and that's exactly how it went down. So anyway, it's a great movie to see, and I highly recommend it. Now, let me see. There's one more thing. Okay, so let's see. Yeah. Okay, let me just check. Oh yeah, that's the other thing that was amazing. She said back in those days, you know, because some people she has sort of a label of being mentally ill. But I said, even after seeing the movie, you know, I can see where people would say she was mentally ill just because she was a very opinionated woman. And Sally Field said there wouldn't have been an Abraham Lincoln without Mary Lincoln. She was very much a part of everything that he was doing. And but back then they said, don't educate them to the women. Don't educate the women because they'll go crazy. And why would they go crazy? Because they had nothing to do. They wouldn't let them any jobs. You know, they didn't have anything that they could really do with a mind, you know, where they were, which is just unbelievable how far we've come. It's pretty great. But the last thing that I'll say, as far as Scientology and me, is she's done a television series called Brothers and Sisters. And it's just about this incredibly dysfunctional family. And you know, betrayal and all kinds of things. But to me, I love it because it really does. It's very similar to emotions that I have on different characters and different things. So anyway, it was great to see her. It was a wonderful night. And if you haven't seen any of these movies, I hope you watch them because they're really good movies. They're really well written and they're really cool. And Forrest Gump, she was in that too, and she talked about that too. So there you go. I just wanted to tell you that. And here's my other little message for now, which I have on my door in my bedroom. Keep Christmas in your heart. There you go. All right. So I hope you're having a wonderful last week until Christmas. Peace out.